Girl, I'm in my soft guy era, drizzle, drizzle. Girl, I'm in my soft guy era, drizzle, drizzle. This question here, this guy says, I have a date tomorrow and I need some help. There's a coworker that I like and we have great chemistry. This could be something serious. The first date was horrible and she understood the situation. He didn't say why it was horrible. He did. Long story short, I was way too drunk and we only cuddled. I've been saying on the show several times now, guys, alcohol is not your friend in the dating world. You need to learn how to date and how to talk to people without being inebriated, without being drunk or high or any of the other things that are going to, because this is the thing. And as a kid, I didn't honestly, guys, I did not have my first drink of alcohol until I was 21. I finally tried an edible for the first time last year at 41. So I was just like, that was a good time to try it out. I sat with my friends. I had half of a cookie and I was pew. And I sat there the whole time like, the high part feels great. The getting to the high part feels horrible. And the come down feels worse. I don't know how people do this. But anyway, the point is this, is that as you're getting into talking with women, it's better to practice talking to women without having anything in you, because what will happen is that'll become your crutch. And then later on down the line, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you have an alcohol problem or getting high problem, and you can't talk to women that great, or you're constantly having to drink and get high in order to go on dates. And then all these kind of issues happen where you're not able to read signals the right way, or something you unintentionally violate her in some way, or worse, you miss out on things that indicate she would have liked you, but you were too high to notice it. And now you started some kind of fight that you didn't mean to, and now she doesn't want to like you anymore. So it really behooves you as a guy because again, on dates, women are following your leadership. And if your leadership is, I'm drunk, I'm high, I can't think straight, then that's not going to make her trustworthy of your leadership. Even if you later down the line are able to go out and have a few drinks or whatever, I would advise you guys not to be doing this on first, second, or third dates, especially. You need to start getting to the practice of learning how to talk to women without these extra things. It will serve you greatly. All right. Anyway, so he says, long story short, I was too drunk and we only cuddled. She wanted more. The way she looked at me, I know what she meant, but I didn't want it to go that way. I got her a taxi and sent her home. Well, you know what? I stress to you guys that at the end of the day, consent goes both ways. If you're not, for whatever reason, feeling on that first date like you want to do stuff, nothing says you have to. Now, it's different though if you saw that she wanted to do it and you did want to do it, but you sent her away anyway, then you got to kind of question what that was about. Were you not completely confident that she wanted to actually do stuff, or were you, in this case, too drunk to do things? You got to really figure that out. But either way, don't think that just because, you learn all this pickup stuff and you learn how to hook up with women, that you have to do it on that first date. That the pickup and the hookup can happen on your own time. If you're not ready that first time, that's totally fine. Most women I find, again, they're following your timing. So I've made women wait 2 or 3 months before we hooked up, and they were totally fine to do that because they're just wanting to get to know me. I'm getting to know them. And so you can totally do that as a strategy if you want to. But again, also don't feel bad if you decide that first night you want to do some stuff, and don't judge her for wanting to do stuff either, because women hate that. Anyway, he says, I asked her out again after 3 weeks. She stopped replying for an entire day. Then she agreed. So so 3 weeks later, he asked her out again and she ignored the text for a day. And then she said, yes, let's go on a date. So then he says, what does that mean? Was she waiting for a more formal date? Since the last date was kind of a workplace party and I took her to the nearest pub, we didn't want the night to end. So I wouldn't even consider that a date. That was like a meetup that turned into a walkout, that turned into you guys hang out at a pub. That's not really the best first date story. An actual date is what we're looking for. But you asked her out. So she said yes to it. Fantastic. So he's saying, but he's wanted to know why, what does that mean that she waited a day? Dude, who knows? I've been in relationships where I will text a woman in the morning and I don't hear from her till either that night or the next day. She was busy. She was doing other things, yada, yada, yada. Phone died, whatever. Okay. All we care about is when she responded, did she say yes? If that's what happened, then you dealing with all this extra, but wait, she waited a day to text me back. I have things I want to talk about. No, you don't. You don't need to do that. No. All we care about is, did she say yes to the date? And is she going to show up for the date? So all these extra things that guys seem to want to suddenly care about, well, did she text me exactly the time that I text her back, blah, 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 blah. I look for various metrics that are more important than that. If I text her and ask her on a date, does she say yes? At the time that the date's supposed to happen, does she show up? At the end of that date, when I wait a few days to contact her and I ask her out again, Does she say yes to that date? On these dates, is she touching me in certain ways? These are the things that matter more than all the other things you have in your head that are things that don't actually matter. And for some of you guys, honestly, it takes you having to go out and date more women for this to become a thing that you recognize. See, when I was a younger dater, I wasn't getting a lot of dates. So I'd have a date like every 4 or 5 months or so. And I'd be like, oh crap, like I got to make this one work. And in the process, I'm thinking like, but wait, I can't actually look back at previous girls that I dated and see that there's a pattern of like how they act or how they function and what actually got them to go on a date with me in the first place. So if you date if you date a girl every 4 or 5 months, you're not getting enough time in. If you're dating a girl once a week, like a new girl every once a week, you'll start to see like, oh, okay, so this one said this thing, so she's not interested. Okay, this one did this action, so she's really interested. And it also, like, I find that in terms of the dating side of things, that as you date more, you will be less anxious and nervous about whether or not a girl falls off. Like, if you're, again, dating every 4 or 5 months, every 4 or 5 months, you get this one girl that comes in. You now have one shot. I only have one shot to make this work because then I want to have a date. I want to have a girl. Oh my God. If you're dating a girl every week, then it's like, all right, if this one doesn't work out, that's fine because my budget can't handle these 5 other girls that I'm dating and I got to take them out also. And then you'll be the one that's in the driver's seat versus you having to be reactionatory to whether or not a girl likes you or if you text the right way, or if you call the right way. And again, those things are important to know. Like knowing the right amount of texts to send and how to call, those things are important. But if you're doing that with one person versus 5 other people, if you're doing it with 5 other people, then the one that doesn't work out, you have 4 or 5 other girls to practice on. It becomes less of an issue and you'll be less anxious as a result. But that's why you got to up your numbers. That's why, honestly, for you older guys, I highly recommend doing online dating. I know some of you guys hate it. I have recently helped 2 of my friends get engaged and married to people they met online by helping them with their profiles and how to talk to women on these things through the Messenger app and stuff like that. Like, it behooves you to learn that because then with online dating, you can match with a bunch of people or at least 1 or 2 a week, enough to where you get enough practice to practice your talking to them, practice asking out on dates, practice actually going out on dates and then showing them a good time, what to do, what not to do. The more practice you'll get, you'll start to have real world practice about what's working and what's not working that will then tie to your subconscious of, okay, next time on a date, don't do this. Next time, continue to do that. And you'll be more confident as a result. If you're only getting a couple dates every other month or so, then you're going to always be anxious and nervous, you know? Anyway, so he says, now she is coming to my studio tomorrow for dinner. I'm decent at cooking. Any other ideas on what we should do? We're both young, but mature enough to not be awkward if it fails. This is the first time I'm bringing a girl back to my studio. I usually go somewhere else or in relationships I've moved in. Ooh, that guy was fast. But this girl checks, oh, here we go. He's already effing up. But this girl checks everything I've been looking for. Intelligent, funny, etc. She's not into social media and likes to live in the moment like me. Well, I will say the social media part, that's great. Like I myself don't typically date women that have a big social media presence to the point where if we break up, you cannot even find them online. Like, because they know, like in a relationship, it should just be you guys two. They shouldn't be trying to show their bodies to the world and everybody else. And so kudos on that part. But here's the thing. This is where guys start to mess up. It's only been 1 date. And they work together. Very important. They work together. They've only gone on what we'll say is like half a date because they were at a work party that led to them going to a pub. Kudos for him for getting it to move out to where he singled her out. But yeah, it was only half a date, right? So, but the part where guys mess up is when they start saying things like this. This girl checks everything I've been looking for after half a date and a couple of days at work together. Guys, it takes 3 months for a woman to solidify her feelings because she's doing her due diligence. You need to do the same. Guys make assessments too quickly about women. After a couple of good conversations and half a decent date, we're like, yeah, I can make this work. When you don't know anything about her actual dating history, her family history, how she likes, what color she likes, how she treats waiters and waitresses, like there's a whole string of things that you need to look out for on top of whatever red flags she may throw your way before you say, she's everything I've been looking for. Oh, great. She's intelligent, so she can have a conversation. Oh, great. She's funny. She knows how to laugh at your jokes, etc. She does some other things that you saw that she does seemingly well. This does not give you enough full insight into a woman to make a concrete decision that she is the one you want. And when you start going into your dating life with that thought process that all women are the same and that they all need to actually prove themselves in a longer time frame, then one, that puts you in control of the dating situation. And also you will have less complications because you will come off when you're trying to, if you approach dating like a research project, then there's no way you can come across as needy or desperate because you're not needy or desperate for it yet. All you're trying to do is find out info. You're trying to find out info that's going to allow you to have a better feel about this person being the one for you in a long-term relationship. And that should take you 2 to 3 months. So when he starts saying things like this, I already know he's going to mess up. I already know he's already thinking too heavy about it. I know it's not going to work out. And it's sad because, if he could seemingly be a great guy, but the fact that he took on half a date, waited 3 weeks, is already concerned that I waited a whole day to have to hear from her. And now is trying to figure out like what to do because she's the best thing ever. All that is screams he's about to project onto this woman so much pressure that she's going to lose interest. He's already hyping up how big of a deal. She's coming over. Oh my God. And it's very exciting and it's great if a girl is about to come over to your place because we know what that essentially could possibly mean, right? But even with that, I wouldn't be hyped about that. Like I'd be like, okay, she's coming over, great. I'm gonna clean my place up, I'll cook a nice meal, and then we'll see what's what. That's literally my energy. It's like, I know how to show her a good time in whatever capacity that means, whether it's just we're eating food, we're playing board games, or we go to the bedroom, But it's like, either way, I'm not overly hyped about it because I'm like, I hope this goes well, but you know what? If it doesn't, there's others out there. And so, but I find having that attitude makes women feel less pressured. And then it makes them want to be the one to add pressure to me to date them, to hook up with them, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what we want. We want women feeling like it's their choice to try to see if you're going to be interested in a relationship with them versus you as the guy trying to pressure onto her relationship. Like that's going to cause you to not get relationships. Again, how do I know this? Because in my teenage and 20s, I found that the few times that I did like a girl, when I started applying all this pressure and saying all these things and calling them all the time, also, it resulted in them, whatever interest they had in me, it just dropped, went away completely. And then the few times that I had a girl that I did that to, and then I would back away, I find 2 months later, hey, Harry, what's going on? How you doing? Because we didn't have texting back then. How you doing? Hey, I want to go over and see you. What's going on? Because I wasn't applying pressure. And then back then, I wasn't the person that I am now. So they'd start showing interest again. And then what do? Now I want to go back and apply all the pressure. Now they're showing interest and then chase them away again. And so you have to learn whether they're coming towards you or not. You cannot be the one to apply all this pressure. You make moves at pinpoint times that are going to move things forward, but you don't pressure all the time to try to make things go forward. Again, you need help knowing what those things are, go to introvertdatingsuccess.com, sign up for coaching, sign up for a program. All right. So the last part of his question is, so basically he's saying, she's into me, she wants to come see me. He says, however, there are a lot of guys after her at work and she gets hit on constantly. I am not insecure, but the question is, why me? I've never had a problem with the ladies, but this one is different. No, she's not. My English is not my first language, so if I said something wrong, I didn't mean it. So this guy, again, he's already going in with a low level of self-esteem because he said right here, she gets hit on all the time. Why would she choose me? And I'm sure some of you guys have been through that same situation where like you'll see a girl and you see like all these guys that are just hitting on her left and right, and you're like, but she's talking to me. She's paying attention to me. Like, why would she choose me? That signals that you don't think you're actually good enough for this woman. And this is what I tell you guys, right? Is that just because you do not see in you what would make a girl want to date you doesn't mean that she doesn't see it. Now, this is where we go back to sales, right? In sales, let's say I'm selling a product, right? I believe in a product, but like, I've sold like, I used to sell Cutco knives back in the day, and those knives could be like $800-900 a set, And yet there'd be a few people that I would go to where they'd buy this $800 set of knives. Now, would it be smart of me to be like, I'm sorry, but why are you buying the knives? Like, I know I talked about them and, they cut really well and this and that, but why are you buying them? Like, why are you paying that much for knives? What's that going to make the person in front of me do? It's going to make them second guess, why am I buying these knives? Like, did he bamboozle me? Like, should I not buy the knives? Because he's clearly saying I shouldn't be buying the knives, right? Like, I'm not going to buy the knives now. Like, this is what you guys do when girls come to you and say, hey, I'm going to go out. And you're like, but why do you want to date me? Like, I'm just a lowly slob and I don't have a job. And that rhymed. And I don't have a car and I can't take you far. That rhymed also. Like, you're just like, now you're trying to not sell her on going out with you after she's already been sold by herself on going out with you. Like, at that point, what are you doing? And so this guy's going to the same situation. He's like, why me? Why poor old me? He's going to bring it to the house and she's going to want to do some stuff. And in his head, he's going to be thinking, but why would she want to hook up with me? Like, what's so special about me that she should hook up? And he's going to mess it up. And so you guys, this is what I tell guys in general, right? Women are the consumers. If they come to you and say, I like your product and I want to buy you, i.e., I want to go out with you, I want to date you, I want to hook up with you, your job is not to talk her out of the sale. Your job is to be like, hey, in your head, I don't understand why she wants to do things with me, but hey, she's the consumer. Okay, great, let's go have fun. Like, you do that. You don't try to sit there and try to second guess, or is this a joke? Is she playing with me, or is she just gonna use me for a hookup and then leave me? Like, no. Like, she chose you because she saw something in you that maybe you didn't see in yourself, but that she finds immensely interesting enough to where she wants to do something with you and connect with you. So let her be right. Like, sometimes you got to look at, like, if she wants me, I'm in the wrong here. I'm tripping. I'm gonna go along with what she says, but she wants to be with me. She wants to do me. She wants to take me out and go with that. Sometimes you need to let your own self-esteem issues, like, you need to ignore them completely for what is in front of you saying to you, I want you. And the sad part is, if you have low enough self-esteem, you're not going to hear that. And you're going to be constantly saying, no, you don't want to go to the bedroom with me. No, you just trying to blah, blah. Like, don't talk women out of wanting to do things with you. Like, if they're saying I choose you, let that be their choice and make them happy that they chose you.
You's a bad boy, but you can't stop, won't stop. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-class man. You a high-earning, high-value, high-class